In one of the most complex, most strategically vital regions on the entire planet, there's a think tank in Islamabad that's all about one simple, powerful idea: know thy neighbor. So today we're going to dive into the Institute of Regional Studies and its mission to really shape the conversation in South Asia and, honestly, far beyond.
So let's get right to it. What exactly is the Institute of Regional Studies, or the IRS? Well, first off, it is not a government mouthpiece. It's an independent, nonprofit research center, and it's been in the game shaping policy talks for over 40 years, since all the way back in 1981. And that word, regional, in its name, that's the key. This isn't just about Pakistan. Look at this map of their focus. It covers this incredibly vast and geopolitically critical neighborhood, connecting the dots between India, the Gulf states, China, Central Asia. That is a huge area to cover. So what's the big idea here? What's the driving force behind an institute with such a massive focus? Well, it all boils down to a mission that's as simple as it is powerful. This is it. Know thy neighbor. That's the slogan, the core principle that's guided the IRS since day one. The idea is so straightforward: real, genuine understanding. Well, that's the absolute first step you need to take if you want any kind of stability and cooperation in a region this complex.
And the Institute's current president, Ambassador Johar Salim, he really brings this mission into the 21st century. He frames it as a direct answer to the region's big problems: the mistrust, the misperceptions. He's pushing for a future where, mutual respect and just talking to each other can actually replace those old ambitions of dominance.
And here is where you can see how that classic mission applies to today's biggest challenges. See, knowing thy neighbor isn't just about old-school geopolitics anymore. No way. Now it means understanding how climate change hits the whole region, tracking cybersecurity threats, and really analyzing the cultural and demographic shifts that are quietly reshaping everything. Okay, so that's the mission. But what does the IRS actually do? How does all this talk turn into something tangible? Let's take a look at the research they're actually putting out into the world. Their work is really structured and, honestly, pretty diverse. If you want that deep, peer-reviewed analysis, they've got the academic journal Regional Studies. If you want to go all in on just one single issue, there's Focus. And for that quick, sharp take on something that just happened, they have Spotlight. And just to give you a taste of what they're looking at, a recent Spotlight report dug into the evolution of modern conflict. It explores how military strategy is shifting so fast from physical battlefields into the digital world of cyberspace. You can't get much more timely than that. And to show you just how broad their scope is, a recent Focus piece took on a massive environmental threat: climate overshoot. This is that terrifying risk of pushing our climate past points of no return. It's a perfect example of how their work connects hard security with, human survival. But here's the thing. You can't do this kind of critical research in a bubble. The IRS gets that. To truly know thy neighbor, you've got to collaborate. It's absolutely essential. And their reach is pretty significant. The IRS is actively working with over 20 different institutions. This really transforms it from just an isolated think tank into a central hub, a connector for this huge network of knowledge, both inside Pakistan and all across the globe. And just take a look at who they're working with. It gives you a real snapshot of how diverse their network is. They partner up with major national universities like Quaid-e-Azam, sure, but also with academic centers in Italy, strategic institutes in Kazakhstan, and specialized research bodies in Russia. It's a truly global web of expertise. So at the end of the day, all of this, the deep research, the sharp analysis, the global partnerships, it's all serving one final, vital purpose: to get people in a room talking to each other. And this is really where their work comes alive. They're hosting roundtable discussions on some of the most cutting-edge topics out there. Look at these recent examples. One day they're tackling drug trafficking on the dark web, the next they're mapping out the future of relations with the Gulf states, and then they're dissecting the results of major interfaith dialogues. All of this leaves us with one last, really crucial question. In a world that is so often defined by military might, by economic competition, what's the real value of just knowing thy neighbor? The work of the Institute of Regional Studies seems to suggest that maybe, just maybe, it's the most powerful tool we've got.